Look out and what? Look out, honey. I'm using technology.
Oh, they don't have a word for technology, huh?
Oh no! Oh, look out, honey. I'm using. We don't have a word for it yet.
No. Well, all right. Then use technology because at least they'll understand that.
Some people say he's a wild one in a way. You know I'm a rolling stone. You know I've been born to be alone, but I'm just happy to be me. Mona, my Mona, she comes to me from Arizona.
All right, so hello, gentlemen, David and Mr. Bob Holman. 11th of February, Canterbury Tales. Tell us about it.
Oh, what a lousy question.
Yay, I come up with the best questions.
I'm not telling you about it. I don't talk about it ahead of time. So you got to ask me a question.
Bob, you tell us then. Are they going to be expecting some kind of literary evening of politeness and oldie English?
I hope not. They better not be expecting politeness and oldie English, though Bob has got a little bit of oldie English in him, you know.
Yes, I'll be the oldie English one. But no, are you kidding me? Listen to Dave. Listen to David. Come on, this is going to be rock and roll. I believe.
It's rock and roll, and if Chaucer had been, of our generation, he'd have a great rock and roll band, and with great songs. All of those guys, they all wanted to be in a rock and roll band. Beethoven, think about what Beethoven would do with a rock and roll band. Chaucer, Chaucer was, he was, I don't know, maybe he was the first one to recognize the road and what a narrative vehicle the road is, and there was,
of course not.
There was,
of course not, David. He stole it. He stole it from this Italian guy Boccaccio. He was the guy who started it.
Well,
it was just like rock and roll. The way art is made,
That's
one guy to the next.
Nobody owns the road. The road. The road is, there's three phrases that you need to know, and you understand it all. Number one, by the rivers of Babylon I sat and wept when I remembered you, O Zion. Okay. Number two, down by the river I shot my baby.
Whoa.
And what's number three? I had it in my head. God, I had it in my head. Train I ride, 16 coaches long. Now, if you just study those three phrases out of Western culture, you got it. You will discover it all.
I hear 15 monkeys with carnival eyes. My head is full of spies. Nothing to show for, nothing to choose. So I follow the clues. I follow the clues. The donkeys are bitching at us, swallowing me. I said, here I am, overseas gone. So drunk, tired, and pulling me on. I got nothing to show for, and nothing to choose. I got that is night, and I'm part of the tears. I get 15 monkeys, and I wanna cry. It's a dance story with a funny twist.
Let's just summarize what's going to be happening that evening. Mr. Bob Holman, poet extraordinaire from NYC Bowery Poetry Club, will be flying in specially for this performance. We've lost his video at the moment. I'm hoping that will come back. And then he will introduce the Pale Boys and be weaving his his words between the Pale Boys?
Bob is the narrator for the evening. He will be narrating introductions to the tales. There will be a series of tales. These tales, are rock and roll songs.
Have you got a sample to give us of what you're gonna have for the audience on that night? How are you gonna grab them by the balls and say, sit down, show's starting, here's some poetry?
Blast open the gates to kingdom come. Whoops, what happened to everyone? I planted a seed, grew into a gun. Dum, 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 dum. Life is a riot living in a cartoon. Ice Age in a dumpster? That's your living room. Set fire to your roof. Get a better view. Global warming is a warning. Toodaloo.
Last night I'm a friend of mine. One day they cried in the streets. One day they walked on the hands. Afraid of a strange and free, wide open land. All the time, call me. All the time, I say, go, 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 go. I was in love, I'm always alone. I'm always alive till the long walk home. Last night I thought an old friend's mine made most outrageous sort of claims. So running out of books and rocking on their heels, they're watching a while out of the flames. All the time, all the calling, all the time. Say go, go, go. I'm always in love, I'm always.
Very wonderful. So the two Pale Boys are reforming for this gig, and some would say that they are perhaps the most poetic music that you do, David.
Basically, we're telling the tale of the concrete Mississippi that flows across America, and in concrete, the three E's: Edison, Elvis, and Eisenhower. Well, it's Eisenhower and Elvis, but that's the thing that starts in Canterbury and proceeds most of the way through the rest of the time through America, because frankly we're Americans, and frankly we're dealing with an American art form. And
well, have you seen the Pale Boys? That's Andy Diagram, Keith Molyneux, David, and sometimes Gagarin, and it's been known to make grown men cry at the beauty of the songs. So tell me what you know of the Pale Boys.
Well, I did a little work with David and the Pale Boys back when we were doing Mirror Man, the opera, and I cried. I really did. I mean, there is a beauty in I know that David will kill me when I say this, and so will Grail, Marcus, and everybody else. But I think that DT and the PBs are the most beautiful rock and roll band, period. I mean, it's beautiful.
We find the beauty in chaos. Chaos is a great luxury minefield of gold and diamonds and precious stones, and we mine the chaos. We mine chaos, and we find the beauty in the stones, the precious stones in chaos, but it is chaos that sets us free, because there are no expectations. I don't, you've worked with me a lot of times. Have I ever told you what to do? No, I'm going to answer the question I asked you. No, I have never told you or anybody else what to do. Now, sometimes I might correct somebody. I might say, well, that's not, you need to focus a little bit more on it. But no, because I work with people who understand that you're mining chaos. You're in a big garbage heap of chaos, and you're scrabbling through it like they like all those alien movies. You're digging through the chaos, trying to find a can of dog food to eat, and that's what sets you free. There are no expectations. It's not worthy, it's not literary, we accept that Chaucer is just another punk bozo like we are.
So now it's your turn. How's it working with David, Bob?
I'm reminded of that moment in what's it called? Straight No Chaser. Whatever it is, the Thelonious Monk movie, where the two guys come up to Thelonious and point at a note on the score, and they say to him, "Hey, Thelonious, is that a B or a B flat?" And Thelonious looks at him and he said, "Yes." And that's, I love working with David. It's like working with pure art, except that, of course, it's American, so it's a mongrel purity,
You've got the sorry, carry on.
The Rats, yeah. I haven't worked
from the Netherlands.
Them I don't know. I'm looking forward to meeting those cats, or rats, or whatever they are.
I live on the moon. I live in a box on the moon. My friends watch me from far below. We dream miles away, so never to set.
So, David, you're going to be playing at the Pere Ubu Canterbury Tale Show at the Gulbenkian. How are you feeling about that?
Well, we're all really excited. First of all, it's a big honor for us to play at such a place with Pere Ubu. As you know, we're big fans of David's work and have been for years. So yeah, it's a great opportunity for us. We're really excited about it.
You opened for them in London, and then you did a gig at the Moth Club where David and Keith came along, and I'm not sure Dids was there, but so you've had a few opportunities to meet the big man himself, but you've done a cover version of Visions of the Moon that you will be duetting with him. How's that going to go?
Well, I'm really looking forward to that. Of course, we're a bit nervous about it. I mean, we're playing one of David's songs with David, obviously, and we hope that goes down well. But from what I heard, he seems to be up for it. So,
tell us what Rats' set will consist of.
We'll be doing some of our songs from our last record. So we're picking a few songs we hope will fit in with the evening, and generally just the new stuff. We haven't been to England to play any of the stuff yet, so
you got cancelled, didn't you, for COVID?
Right about that time, everything became very complicated, so it was very unfortunate, but we had to cancel. It's these are strange times, obviously.
I know.
So, yeah.
Well, we're really excited to see you again. I remember you opening for Pere Ubu in the Co-Ed Jail tour and just being blown away by you guys. And I'm so pleased that we're all still in touch. So yeah,
thank you very much, and same here.
So David, what can we expect from the Pere Ubu set?
Well, we're doing because we've got the box set Nuke the Whales coming out. We're doing.
Now, just hold on a moment there, Bob. Do you not have any questions about it being called Nuke the Whales?
No.
No.
No. Is that a question?
Yeah.
I mean, it is called Nuke the Whales. What's my question? You know?
Well, I mean, we've got 4 albums in the Nuke the Whales box set, which is Why I Love Women, renamed from Why I Hate Women. Lady from Shanghai.
Never heard. Yeah.
Go, Bob.
I've never heard David change his mind before, but he's always loved women, and so I guess it's time to admit it.
I was going to make an album I wanted to do an album of love songs, but I didn't want to end up like all these aging rock stars doing things like, Frank Sinatra covers and things like that. So I was very hesitant, very, very dubious about the project, and I sat there. And at the same time, I was reading some of the more obscure Jim Thompson novels that I had missed, and the thing that I hated about women was that, they follow you, or they follow you around the house and want to touch you. They're walking around the house naked. And
not me. I don't do that.
and they want to
Nuke the Whales.
Yeah. And so I thought to myself, how would Jim Thompson, one of Jim Thompson's characters, deal with this? Well, Jim Thompson characters would hate women because they follow him around and cling on to him, and he would hate women because he needed women, and you hate what you need. Now, of course, every radio station in America immediately threw the album in the bin. Well, I hate women, and people would write Robert Wheeler at UbuDub and on and on and on, complaining. And Robert would just say, didn't you notice it's an album of love songs? I mean, it's an album all of love songs.
Yeah, but to be fair, it's an album of Pere Ubu love songs, which are quite oblique at times.
What's oblique about my eyes are growing tentacles for to grab you?
My eyes are growing tentacles for to grab you. My eyes are growing hand grenades for to have you. My eyes are growing tentacles for to grab you. I live in a house without any windows.
What is oblique about that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very straightforward cephalopod love. Yes.
We still don't know what to expect. We're going to have some Pere Ubu
It's a rock and roll show. It's a punk show. It's punk. It's Chaucer punk. It's Middle English punk. I don't know. It's, the English say they invented punk music. Well, that's true. It's like saying I invented Cheese Whiz or something. But yeah, so, we're going to trace punk back to Chaucer, or we're going to update Chaucer into punk, and it's going to be a rock show. I mean, don't get scared off by the fact that Chaucer would have been Iggy Stooge, if given him half a chance, it's all the same. Just 2,000 years, 1,000 years separate. That's all.
Kirsty, just a couple of historical footnotes here. Number one, I remember meeting David the first time because I was going to direct a Pere Ubu, the play by Jarry version, and I wanted him to play it. And he actually talked with me, and we started to maybe think about it. Later on, he would do that incredible play with Tony Torn, and we saw it here in New York. Just a rendition. But that's when I first met him. Then we met in Holland, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, it goes back a long time, like 20, 30 years or something like that.
Yeah,
and
decades.
The other thing is that as far as history goes, I do think that this new Canterbury Tales is going to open with the actual Middle English that Chaucer spoke. And I just wondered if you wanted to hear a little bit of that.
Yeah, go for it.
One that April, with his sure suit, the drocht of March has passed to the root, and bathed every vine in switch liquor, of which virtue engendered is the flower. When Zephyrus eke with his sweet breath inspired hath in every holt and hath the tenderer croppers, and the youngest son hath in the ram his half coursey runner, and smaller fowls mock and melody that slepen all the night with open ear. So pricketh him nature in here courages, then longing folk to go on pilgrimages, and palmerers for to saken stranges strondes, to ferne hallways, couth in sundry landes, and specially from every shearer's end of England to Canterbury they wend.
Excellent.
You know, how are the audience going to feel? Because there is a sense of danger to all these shows for the audience. I mean, can they trust you all?
No.
Go, David.
Yeah. No, they can trust us, but they can trust us to pull it out. You know, they can trust us to escort them to the edge of the cliff and lean them over the edge of the cliff, and then they can trust us not to let them fall. That's what they can do. the only thing I have left to say is, people always ask me, what was it like? I'll tell you what it was like. It was like the world full of futures that will never happen. Chaucer lived in a world of futures that would never happen. Me and Bob were brought up in a world of futures that will never happen. Today, the future is tiresomely predictable. Well, we're going back to the day when the future was, our lives were filled with futures that will never happen. We're going back to the days when our fathers and elder brothers were sending men to the moon, and now what you got is Instagram. And I'll tell you, honey, every time you post a selfie on Instagram or Twitter or anything else, you are directly responsible for the deaths of 3 people in the world. Directly responsible, So I'm not going to explain. I don't explain anymore. I just tell you the facts. Now, you go post that selfie, you're going to kill 3 people. That's fine. You just go ahead and ignore it.
Okay. So that's helped. Pere Ubu with David Thomas and Mr. Chris Cutler, Mr. Keith Motley, Gagarin, and Alex Ward. Bob, what do you feel that Pere Ubu have contributed to the music / art / whatever world?
They destroyed it.
Yeah. Well.
Are they never going to put it back together again?
Oh, they put it back together at every fucking at every concert. They put it together again at every concert.
It's a strange one, isn't it? Because, you haven't seen Pere Ubu until you've seen them live. You haven't heard Pere Ubu until you've heard them live. And every single show is different and a bit scary.
Well, you said it.
Scary is our middle name. That's right. Well, that's what an audience wants. An audience, they'll tell you anything, and they'll go to any number of these, I don't know nobody's name, Lady Gaga, whatever, any of these people you want to name. I don't know I can't remember their names. What does it matter? And and it's all safe and convenient, and there's not going to be any problem, and it's just like the record. And everybody thinks that's what they want. No, an audience doesn't really want that. They don't really want that. They want to feel that what they're seeing will never be repeated again, and that it is unique to them that evening. And unique doesn't come in mass production terms. Unique means, that this ain't ever going to be the same, the next time. And it's on the verge of falling apart at every moment. Every moment.
And we need Bob. Send in Bob.
Here comes the poetry. Watch out!
Watch out. Poetry on the move.
I've got one more question that we're going to finish with, which is the following morning after the show, there is, of course, breakfast with David.
That's right.
In the hotel.
We're going to have breakfast with David,
You don't care who comes. You don't even have to be staying at the hotel to come and have breakfast with David.
That's
but,
right.
You've just got to make sure he's got enough hash browns. Bob, will you be joining us for breakfast with David?
I will be, but I'm going to be disappointed if David's not going to be flipping burgers for breakfast. I mean, he's not going to be cooking this time?
No, I'm not cooking. I'm just going to go and order from and have whatever they give me at the Premier Inn. They usually they have a good breakfast there, so.
Is it an American breakfast?
No. So yes, I'm just going to close off this podcast then. We are in Canterbury at the Gulbenkian Theatre, which is at the University of Kent, on the Friday, the 11th of February. Show starts at 8 o'clock. It will be wall-to-wall entertainment for over 2 hours. There's going to be all the links underneath here of where you can get merch and all the people who are taking part, and of course the YouTube playlist. So guys, we hope they'll join us, huh?
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess, sure, why not? You know, do I get more money if they join us?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess, join us. What the hell do I care? You know.
Come on, everybody. Let's jump in the love lake.
Yeah, let's jump in the love lake. You know. All right.
All right.
It's good talking to you, Bob, and we're going to see you soon enough.
Great seeing you, David. Kirsty,
right.
Love you guys. Be flying over soon.
Good night.